Hello, my name is Erin, and I'm the editorial representative and the public relations officer of the Southern Branch of the Irish Patchwork Society. In 2016, the Southern Branch of the Irish Patchwork Society has decided to focus on education, in particular education for newer patchworkers. In this video, we're going to be focusing on our first block construction. Yay! We've been talking about so many things of how to improve your sewing and how to thread your sewing machine and all sorts of good things. I thought that this video we could do an actual block construction. And what we're going to do is a simple 4-patch block. Now my 4-patch block is going to end up being 6.5 inches unfinished, which will then be a 6-inch finished block in my quilt. Now, I know it's a little confusing for newer patchworkers when I say 6.5 unfinished and 6-inch finished, and what exactly do I mean by that? So, when I say 6.5 unfinished, I'm including those seam allowances around the perimeter of the block. That's ultimately going to be eaten up, I'll say, when you sew your blocks together. So ultimately, that 6.5-inch block that you'll have at the end of creating this block that I show you how, when you sew that into your final quilt, it will end up being just 6 inches because those seam allowances are eaten up when you sew those blocks together. So what you're going to need are, you could do 2 different fabrics. I'm going to do 4 different fabrics. I have 4 blocks here that are 3.5 inches large, so 3.5 inches on both sides. Again, this is including those seam allowance, and remember that a 1/4 inch around this perimeter is going to be eaten up by all those seam allowances. So when you sew these all together, it should be 6.5 unfinished. So now that's clear it's mud. Let's get started to the construction. Alright, so now we're going to start the construction of our 4-patch block. And basically what you need to do before you construct the block is to lay out a design that looks pleasing to you. And the way I decided to do that is that I'm going to sew these 2 fabrics together like so. And then I'm going to sew these 2 fabrics together like so. So we'll take these swirly dots and the bugs in the jar, and we will put them together. If you want to, you can pin. And then just start sewing your seam. Make sure to take out your pin as you come to it. And we'll do the same with these 2. And sew them together. Like so. And what I did there was also called chain piecing, and that's just an easy way to save just a little bit of time. And instead of cutting your thread in between your blocks, you just keep putting what you need to sew underneath the foot as you come to it. So let's press these. Alright, so I have my block all situated. I wanted it to end up like this. I'm going to just lift up my presser foot and just stick the block partly underneath there so you can see how it's hopefully going to look at the end. So I've pressed my block, and what I did was, in order to make sure that you have a nice intersection here when you sew this seam together, because this is a 4-patch block, what I did was I pressed both seams towards one side. So for this side, I pressed the seam towards the darker fabric, and on this one, I did the same as well. I pressed the seam towards the darker fabric. The fact that those 2 darker fabrics are kind of opposite one another like that is really helpful. So, take that out of the presser foot. We will do what's called nesting those seams. And I do like to pin here, just so I have a nice intersection. And then we'll pin the 2 sides as well. Like so. And then we'll start sewing. And go slowly and carefully. taking those pins out as you come to them. And we will press it again. And so this is your finished four patch block. I made this out of some scrap fabrics that I had. It's called a 4-patch block because obviously you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 patches. Here's what it looks like on the back. If you wanted to, and you wanted things to lie really nicely, you could split this seam here. So you had it lying like this. Like so. If I can get that last little one. Yep. So it would lie a little flatter on your finished piece, but if that's not necessary, you can have it all going one direction. So that is your 4-patch block.